Okay, so we're going to talk about the Jurassic period, which is part of the Mesozoic era. The Jurassic period lasted from 199.6 million years ago to 145.5 million years ago, a 54 million year chunk of time. So, types of life that were present by the Mesozoic era. Life was able to succeed on land as well as in the ocean. Before, in the other periods, it had just been in the ocean. So some land life, as everyone knows, Jurassic Park made this era famous. Dinosaurs were the most dominant life form, and there were lots of kind of different dinosaurs. But they were all reptiles, which means that they laid amniotic eggs, which kept their young developing and moist and nourished while they were growing inside the eggs. And this allowed for the first fully animal life cycle to begin. So a couple kinds of dinosaurs. There was the Carnosaurus, which comes from carnivore. They were meat eaters, obviously. The most common one was called the Allosaurus, kind of similar to what we know now of as the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The reason we know this is because there were some skeletons that were found in Utah. They would prey on young, old, sick, or injured, like in the movie Land Before Time, but that's not credible, so. But anyways, they wouldn't prey on big dinosaurs that were strong and healthy, like the Brachiosaurus or the Stegosaurus. So there were some other ones called the sauropods. Those were kind of like, they looked like giant lizards. And they were herbivores. They had 4 legs and feet, obviously. We kind of know them as the dinosaurs with really long necks and the really big, heavy tails. They could get up to 100 feet long and weigh over 100 tons. They are the largest animal that has ever roamed the earth. They had small heads, and the nose was kind of on top, and the eyes were kind of far apart. The small heads caused them to have small brains, but that didn't stop them from being successful. So the other one, there was a bird called the Archaeopteryx. It's kind of the first known bird in history. It was pretty small. It flew around the air with other things like insects and pterodactyls. Then the marine life. So that was land life. So now marine life, there was lots of marine life in addition to the land life. The largest one was called the Plesiosaurus. They had wide bodies and long necks and 4 like flipper-like legs, as well as the Ichthyosaurus, which was kind of fish-shaped. The cephalopod was kind of the ancestors of what we know as like the modern squid. Some fossils were found with other smaller animals inside of them, which made scientists think that some of these animals were maybe were giving live birth. So that's kind of exciting, and that's just a few of the marine life. Some other animals, again, those were all of those, both the land and the marine, were just a few of the life forms that were happening. Some other ones that have definitely evolved since, but were present then, were insects. There were some dragonflies, arachnids such as scorpions, millipedes, barnacles, snails, jellyfish. There were also a number of small mammals, but we don't know a lot about those. So, some tectonic history of what was going on at that point in time. Pangaea, which was the major continent at that point, split apart, and it was kind of a major split. The northern half, known as Laurentia, was splitting into multiple land masses that would eventually be North America and Eurasia. And they opened that basin for the central Atlantic, which is now called the Gulf of Mexico. The southern half, Gondwana, was drifting into the eastern segment that would form Antarctica and Madagascar, India, Australia, and a western portion that is now Africa and South America. There was lots of underwater volcanic activity happening. This caused the ocean floor to spread, which caused sea levels to rise. And that kind of affected the climate. So all this rifting that happened with the continents was a general warmer global temperature, but that allowed for the diversification and the ability for dinosaurs to come into dominance. So all that water that had risen up created that hot, humid climate from the previous dry, hot one. So it was kind of like a greenhouse in there, very subtropical, which caused a lot of greenery and a lot of lush plants to grow. Abundant palm tree-like trees, conifers, lots of ferns. So, some research that has been done about this information from Encyclopedia Britannica, quote, large salt deposits dating from the Jurassic period represents areas of high aridity, while extensive coal deposits suggest areas of high precipitation. It has been suggested that an arid belt existed on the western side of Pangaea, while more humid conditions existed in the east. These conditions may have been caused by large landmasses affecting wind and precipitation in a manner similar to that of modern continents. End quote. And here's another one. Quote, analysis of oxygen isotopes in marine fossils suggests that Jurassic global temperatures were generally quite warm. Geochemical evidence suggests that surface waters in low latitude were about 20 degrees Celsius, which is about 68 degrees Fahrenheit, while deep waters were about 17 degrees Celsius and 63 degrees Fahrenheit. The coolest temperatures existed during the Middle Jurassic and warmest temperatures in the Late Jurassic. A drop in temperature occurred at the Jurassic-Cretaceous boundary. End quote. And again, that's from Encyclopedia Britannica. So, something that scientists still don't know and still don't really agree on is what happened when the dinosaurs died out. There was a minor mass extinction toward the end of the Jurassic period, and during the extinction, most of the Stegosaurids and the enormous sauropod dinosaurs died out, as did many of the general population of marine reptiles. And to this day, no one really knows what caused the extinction. Lots of theories about climate change and just general things like that, but we still don't really know. So, that's the Jurassic period. Okay, thanks.